Right now, you are warm. There is a number on a wall somewhere in your home. A machine kicks on and fixes the problem before your body notices. Heated house to heated car to heated building. The coldest part of your day is the 10 seconds between them. But for almost all of human history, winter was not an inconvenience. Winter was the season that tried to kill you. 4 threats at once: the cold, the hunger, the animals, the dark. So how did human beings survive winter at all? Because they did. Your ancestors walked into some of the coldest places on the planet. They came out the other side. And the way they did it is one of the most impressive things our species has ever pulled off. Start with the most obvious threat, the cold itself. A human being is a tropical animal. Left alone in the cold, a naked human slips into hypothermia in hours. Fingers stop working. Thinking slows. The body simply stops. No claws, no thick fur, no insulation worth mentioning. On paper, we are one of the worst equipped large animals for a hard winter. And yet humans walked into the cold on purpose. North into Ice Age Europe, east into Siberia. Fire helped, but fire only warms the side facing it. Step away to hunt and the cold comes straight back. They needed a way to carry warmth wrapped around their bodies everywhere they went. The answer was clothing, but not the kind you're picturing. A hide thrown over your back leaves gaps, wind gets in, it slips when you move. Better than nothing. But in a real winter, better than nothing still gets you killed. The breakthrough was cutting hides into pieces and sewing them into shapes that fit, fitted sleeves, closed sides. A pocket of warm air held against the skin. To make this work, you need a needle. Not just any needle, a needle with an eye, a tiny hole drilled through a sliver of bone. Archaeologists have found bone needles dating back more than 40,000 years. The thread came from the animals too, sinew stripped, dried and used to stitch hides tight. Without the needle and thread, there is no human being in Ice Age Siberia. You are warm now. You can move and hunt, but the sun is going down and the temperature is still dropping. Clothing cannot solve this. You need somewhere to survive the night. The obvious answer is a cave. Caves were genuinely valuable, but a good dry cave was rare. And if you found one, you probably weren't the only one who wanted it. Most of the time, if you wanted shelter, you had to build it yourself. In what is now Ukraine, at a site called Mezerik, archaeologists found shelters built 15,000 years ago. No wood, no stone, so they used the one material they had in enormous quantity: mammoth bones, stacked and interlocked into round dome-shaped huts. Hundreds of bones in a single dwelling, jawbones layered like roof tiles, tusks arched over the door. These were not throwaway shelters. Real planning, real labor. Inside, they lined the floor. In South Africa, archaeologists found bedding 77,000 years old. People were making their shelters comfortable before our species had even left Africa. Bones don't fit perfectly. Every gap is a doorway for the wind. So they sealed every gap. Animal hides stretched across walls, sod blocks stacked outside, snow packed against the base. A thick layer of snow is actually a very good insulator. It traps air. Trapped air holds heat. Layer by layer, the wind ran out of ways to get inside. A shelter wasn't just walls. It was a system that kept people alive on nights that should have killed them. But warmth creates a new problem. To keep a fire through a long winter, you need fuel, a lot of it. You are tied to that shelter. You cannot just wander. The food has to be stored. Winter's third threat was the one that killed the most people: hunger. In winter, the world stops producing food. Plants die. Animals vanish. For a hunter-gatherer, it is a math problem. Gather enough in summer to last through months of nothing. Ancient humans became experts at storing food. The first method was drying. Pull the moisture out and meat doesn't rot. Smoke added another layer of preservation. A rack of drying meat in autumn was a group's insurance against starving in February. The second method: dig a pit into the frozen ground and pack it with meat from a big kill. Winter itself became the freezer keeping the food edible. But the most valuable winter food wasn't meat. It was fat. When you burn enormous energy just to stay warm, lean meat is not enough. Ancient humans rendered fat into tallow, a stable, storable fuel for the body. Mixed with dried meat, it made a dense, portable food packed with calories. The difference between a group that saw spring and one that didn't. 3 threats down, 1 left. and it's the one nobody talks about, the darkness. In deep winter, you might have only a few hours of daylight. Then 15 or 16 hours of cold dark with nowhere to go. Stuck in a small space with the same few people, night after night after night. That kind of confinement can wear a person down in ways that cold and hunger never could. But ancient humans did not just endure the dark hours. They filled them, repairing spear points, sewing new clothing, twisting plant fiber into rope, carving. The long night was workshop time. The hours when a group prepared everything it would need the moment the weather broke. And around that fire, the older members passed down everything they knew to the younger ones. The stories, the songs, the shared knowledge forged in the longest, coldest nights. Winter didn't just test the body, it built the mind. The cold pushed humans to invent fitted clothing. The lack of caves pushed them to invent real architecture. The food gap pushed them to invent storage. The dark pushed them to create culture. Nearly every technology that let our species spread across the planet was forged in the effort to survive the cold. Survival was never guaranteed. It was earned every single year through preparation, skill, and sheer stubbornness. Every winter was a test. A huge number of people did not pass. Now you turn a dial and the room gets warm. You open a door and there's food grown on the other side of the planet in the middle of December. You complain about the sun setting too early from inside a house your ancestors could not have imagined. You have never once felt the specific fear of watching the first snowfall and wondering if you stored enough to see the spring. 100,000 years of people freezing and starving and huddling in the dark slowly figured out how to beat it, one invention at a time, so that you would never have to.